So first we have to discuss a fundamental truth about the women of today. Actually, it's been that way for a long time, but especially the women of today, the entitled princesses who, think their magic vagina and boobies excuse them from all behavior, even if they choose it. The idea was to get all the perceived goodies of men, that they thought all these men are having sex and all these men are this and all these men are that, and I can prove to you most of it is bullshit, especially with the chance to be educated and get out of the house and all that. It's crap. It's a lie. It's cherry-pick statistics to show, look at the oppressed wammens over here. Women have to be oppressed because men are always the oppressors. So a fundamental truth is women cannot be held responsible for anything, even their own decisions. They cannot be held accountable or responsible for the consequences of whatever decisions they make. They take a shitty major in college and they get $120,000. And, it shouldn't be their fault. We should forgive that. College should be free, Bernie Sanders. You see what I'm saying? It's like, no. You should have taken something that could kick off enough money to pay you. Oh, you're oppressing women. You know how the fucking game works now, right? We see things like, if she had a drink, for example, she couldn't possibly consent to sex when we all know, I don't know about you, but I've had plenty of good, clean, consensual activity when we've been drinking. There's nothing that's completely and totally normal. Why would they want to make something abnormal that has been normal forever? Have a couple of glasses of wine, you get loosened up, and hey, whatever. Normal interactions between men and women are to be criminalized. And what do I mean by that, hamster? Have you heard about Bill C-51 in Canada that recently has become a law? That any electronic evidence of consent for a sexual encounter, because some people have been saying, videotape the consent, that's going to cover your ass in court, or, have her sign this paper and all that shit. Well, suddenly all of that crap is not admissible as evidence in Canada without a special, hearing with a special judge and all of this other. In other words, it's another hurdle. So even if the man has a videotape confession or an email or something like that, it is now excluded as evidence because it's part of her sexual history, which can't be admitted in court. Do you see the game they just played in Canada? Now, you haven't heard this on the media because guess what? The only thing you're going to hear on the media about this is, Bill C-51, it removes those ancient laws about, having a horse without shoes and, the dueling laws that are just ancient and archaic and blah, 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 blah. That's what you're going to hear. And indeed, it did take some ancient and archaic laws off the books. But the really interesting part of C-51 doesn't get reported except by a few people. John the Other would be one, and I'll link one of his videos below. And he's in Canada, so he's much more aware of what's going on with Bill C-51. But the bottom line is, this comes from the Ghomeshi trial. Now, you may have heard that a few years ago, where this Ghomeshi guy, he was like a big DJ or something. He liked to fuck a lot of women. I mean, that was his thing. And sometimes he liked to do a little choke, slap and tickle, that kind of thing. Several women accused him of, sexual assault or rape. Well, it turns out he had tens of thousands, I believe, of emails, letters, various other things that clearly show the women involved here accusing him of sexual assault were fully on board with what was going on. Fully on board. And eventually, it turned out that the women actually got together to get their story straight so they could convict this guy of whatever. That's at least my understanding. I don't know all the details. Feminists in Canada didn't like that, you see, because there was proof that they actually agreed to something, and there should not be consequences even if a woman chooses to do something. Do you see what's going on here? We've heard about the rape culture, right? The United States is this hotbed of men just raping with abandon, and the culture supports it. There's no penalties for rape in this country. It's just, tacitly, no problem. Go ahead, rape away, boys. Especially if you're a white frat boy or something like that. Well. What they really mean by the rape culture, because we know the rest of it's bullshit. We have severe penalties for someone convicted of rape. That's the trick there, the conviction. Because I would say most rape and sexual assault cases, and I don't know the number in front of me, but I'm guessing it's a big chunk, are the he said, she said. They go to court, and it's like, okay, he raped me. Okay, what was the situation? They explain it. Do you have any witnesses? Do you have any evidence? Do you have anything? Think of Christine Blasey Ford. Well, no. How do you prove something when there's only two people? It's almost impossible. That's what they consider rape culture, because they just want to point at somebody. He did something to me. He should go to jail. You may recall the MeToo movement as of late, where I believe 2 have been charged with criminal activity. Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein. What about the other 400 or 500 guys? Just point and shoot, right? You did something to me, career ruin. That's what they want. And it's for a very selfish reason. They do not want to be responsible for anything they choose to do, including sexual activity. I got drunk one night and had a one-night stand with Chad a year later. Oh, no, he raped me. You see, where's your proof? I don't need proof. I said it. He should go to jail, because women cannot be held responsible for anything. And if you think about it, people, the entire feminist movement has been just about that. Birth control pills, abortion, welfare states. No matter what you do, hey, you marry the wrong guy, you can get a divorce and take half his shit. Or even if you marry the right guy, you can still get divorced and take half his shit and his children away from him, because they cannot be held responsible for their own decisions. And that's where this crap is going. And that's what Bill C-51 is helping to do in Canada. You can say, well, feminism is socialism and Marxism and all this other bullshit. I'm not sure where to go with this one, except to say there can be no responsibility at all on a female for no matter what she does, no matter what she does. Very selfish, isn't it? Very selfish. So in Canada, essentially, if you're accused of sexual assault or rape, you're guilty. And that's what they want to have in the United States. Title IX was a test run. If you think that whole thing wasn't orchestrated to get young women especially used to the idea if they could just point at somebody and he goes away, you are mistaken. That's exactly what it was. And notice how the feminazis are pushing back against the evil Hitler DeVos, because she wants to modify the rules a little bit to make the burden of proof just a little bit higher. James Maxwell, thanks for listening.